Good evening, everyone. Or I suppose it will be when this video goes up. And forgive the phone. I don't know why I can't keep this top right-hand fucking corner in to save my life. And there we go, that might actually help. Of course, you didn't come here to find out about my phone issues. No. I wanted to talk about Black Lives Matter. Or maybe I was right first time. This organisation has been virtue signaling over numerous black deaths in America and possibly in the United Kingdom as well, but most prominently was George Floyd, a man who was actually a criminal. He was trying to smuggle drugs in his mouth. The media did not want to tell us this. And they tried to make out that the cop that killed him, because they put too much pressure on his neck, was a really horrible person. But that's not what this is about. I will give credit to Nigel Farage for pointing this out, because he's the first one to do this. But I'll be linking in the description below an article from the Daily Fail, or is it Mail? Nah, I think it is Daily Fail. I think I've definitely got that one right first time. Anyway, I will link an article in the description below for you to see relating to Black Lives Matter. And hopefully you guys will understand what I'm talking about when I say that BLM has been exposed as a corrupt organization. So where do I begin, other than reading out what it says literally on the article? These people have been taking good money, a lot of money, from people who thought that they were doing the right thing. From people who thought they were going to make a difference and actually change the world in regards to racism and all that. And now, from reading this in a moment, you are going to find out just how badly they've conned their people. So, revealed, BLM founder Patrisse Cullors paid her baby father $970,000 for quote-unquote creative services. A fellow director, $2.1 million, and reimbursed the organization $73,000 for a charter flight. They spent millions in consulting services in 2021. The foundation was $840K. The consulting firm, 2.1. Bowers said that last BLM board approved the contract with his firm when he was not a board member. And they paid the organization, apparently, $390 for private use of its $6 million Los Angeles mansion. Yes, Patrisse Cullors actually has a £6 million home, which she claims is for housing purposes, as well as her studio, but yeah, I kind of find it hard to believe. And then it turns out that Cullors resigned from BLM last year amid a wave of scrutiny surrounding the charity's finances. What a fucking coincidence. I don't think. And then controversy surrounding the organization's financial issues has elicited probes by at least 2 state attorney generals. So, reading on, newly released tax filings revealed how Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrisse Cullors used charity funds to pay her friends and family large sums of various consulting services, as well as a charter of a private flight. The documents reveal that BLM paid a company owned by Damon Turner, the father of Cullors' child, nearly £1 million to help produce live events and provide other creative services. The co-founder's brother, Paul Cullors, received more than $840,000 for providing security services to the foundation. Leaders have attempted to justify the expense by saying the foundation's protection could not be entrusted to former police professionals who typically run security firms, because the BLM movement is known for vehemently protesting law enforcement organizations. And well, take a look at London where they attack the police. Say no more. But I digress. A consulting firm run by Shalomeyer Boas, if I pronounced that right, who is BLM's board secretary, has previously served as a deputy executive director and was paid more than $2.1 million for providing the organization with operational support, including staffing, fundraising even. Yes, I'm having trouble with my words today. Anyway, fundraising and other key services. Culler resigned from BLM last year amid a wave of scrutiny surrounding the charity's finances. She repeatedly denied claims that she took money from BLM for personal matters and has reiterated that all the purchases and transactions, including a lavish $6 million home in the Los Angeles dubbed Studio City, were legitimate. The new filing also revealed that Cullers reimbursed BLM $73.5K for a charter flight for foundation-related travel, which the organization says she took in 2021 out of concern for COVID-19 security threats. Well, say what you will about COVID-1984. I mean 19, or maybe I got it right first time. But hey-ho. Say what you will about that. You know my stance on COVID-19 now. They over-exaggerated the damn thing. When they called out the far right and all that shit, or all those conspiracy theorists for wearing tinfoil hats and basically not telling the truth, and bear in mind they even put out a thing that says if you speak deceitfully and give COVID mis or disinformation, that you are liable to be criminally charged. Yet the only ones it turned out who were fucking lying about the whole thing were the mainstream media. They said 150,000 people plus had been dying of COVID, and then the figures from the Office of National Statistics then said that it was only 17,371 upon the report being released. So make of that what you will. Back to the article. She paid the foundation an additional $390 over her uses of the 6,500 square foot Studio City property for 2 private events. The latest financial disclosures come after Cullers has already come under fire for receiving a $120,000 payment consulting fees by the Black Lives Matter movement. The former BLM leader did admit previously that her sister, mother, and brother were employed by the organization. The revelations come courtesy of a 63-page Form 990, the annual filing required for organizations to maintain tax-exempt status as a non-profit. This is the BLM's foundation's first public accounting of its finances since incorporating in 2017. As a fledgling non-profit, it had been under the fiscal sponsorship of a well-established charity and wasn't required to publicly disclose its financials until it became an independent 501 Charter 3 non-profit in December 2020. In the latest 990, the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation Incorporated, or GNFI, revealed that it ended the last fiscal year from July 1st, 2020 to June 30, 2021, with nearly $42 million in net assets. The foundation had an operating budget of around $4 million, according to a board member. Nearly $6 million was spent on the Studio City, which includes a home with 6 bedrooms and bathrooms, a swimming pool, a soundstage, and office space, was intended as a campus for Black Artists Fellowships, and it's currently used for that purpose, the board member said. The foundation invested $32 million in stocks from its $90 million it received as donations amid racial justice protests in 2020, prominently George Floyd. But still, the investment is expected to become an endowment to ensure the foundation's work continues in the future, organizers say. But still, after spending more than $37 million on grants, real estate, consultants, and other expenses, the BLM movement is still worth tens of millions of dollars. Also raising eyebrows was the fact that during the last fiscal year, Cullers was the foundation board's sole voting director and held no board meetings, according to the filing. Although it's permissible under Delaware law that where the foundation is incorporated, the government structure, given the appearance that Cullers alone, decide who to hire and how to spend donations. However, currently board members, I keep saying boardroom, I don't know why. Anyway, current board members allege this was never the truth. The 990 reveals that the BLM Foundation is the largest black abolitionist non-profit organization that has ever existed in the nation's history. What we're doing has never been done before, said Shalomaya Boas, who serves as the foundation board's secretary. We need to get dollars out to grassroots organizations doing the work of abolition, doing the work that would shift the moral tide of this world towards one that does not have or believe in police, prisons, jail, or violence, he said. Boas, whose firm received the lion's share of the money spent on consultants in the last fiscal year, hit back at the allegations that the foundation has a conflict of interest and said that the last BLM board approved the contract with his firm when he was not a board member. Our firm stepped in when Black Lives Matter had no structural staff, he said. We filled the gap when nothing else existed, but let me be crystal clear, there was no conflict of interest. Controversy surrounding the organization's finances has elicited probes by at least 2 state attorney generals. Board members said they are cooperating with civil investigations in Indiana and Ohio, and they have turned over relevant documents to those authorities. I'm surprised. I suspect a lot of these crooked places would actually just destroy the fucking evidence. But hey-ho, that's just my opinion. Anyway, the foundation will launch a transparency and accountability center on its website to make its financial documents available for public inspection, Bowers added. Bowles was named as one of the 3 members of BLM Board of Directors earlier this month. He serves with Board Chair Sickly Gay, a communications professional with more than 20 years of experience in nonprofit. Blah, blah, blah. I think it's all just a load of crap at this point. Actually, hold on. BLM's disclosure filing revealed that nearly $26 million, or 70% of its expenses, were grants to organizations and families in the last year. 12 BLM chapters included those in Boulder, Colorado, Boston, Washington, D.C., Detroit, Los Angeles, Gary, Indiana, and Philadelphia received pledges for grants of up to $500,000. I don't suppose it would be very much, $5,000, would it? Anyway, the family foundations created in honor of Floyd and others killed by police and vigilantes. Trayvon Martin and Oscar Grant each received contributions of $200,000. The Michael O.D. Brown We Love Our Sons and Daughters Foundation, run by Michael Brown's Jr.'s mother, Leslie McSpadden, was approved for a large multi-year grant of $1.4 million. A representative of the Brown Foundation received an initial $500,000 had been received in 2021. Among its larger grants are $2.3 million to the Living Through Giving Foundation, a non-profit charity platform that encourages giving at the local level, and $1.5 million to Team Blackbird LLC, a rapid response communications and movement strategy project that increases the visibility of movement organizations. I don't think I'll read any more from that, but as said, the link to this will be in the description, so you can read this for yourself. Don't just take my word for it, and my inability to pronounce some words, but hey-ho. Anyway, that was a pretty disturbing thing for me to notice, and this video from Nigel Farage has actually only come out 3 hours ago. I'll also link his video in the description below as well, so that you can hear it from his mouth as well. So you can be further proven beyond doubt that I'm not just making this up as I go along. And while I'm at it, let's also talk about what happened in America, since we're on the subject to some degree of America, with what happened in Buffalo. I'm talking Payton, I think it's Payton Gendron or something like that. I'll have to look up the name. I can't even remember it off the top of my head. Let's see. Yeah, Payton Gendron. This man... Oh, what's this? I actually just noticed an article. So he's when he realized he was white. Oh, dear. Anyway, this man, this disgusting individual, Payton Gendron, decided to go out of his way to attack black people in a racially aggravated attack. Now, I will get there eventually. Anyway, I completely condemn what this man has done. Nobody should be going out of their way to shoot people of another race with malicious intent. Or good intent, for that matter. But the point is, nobody should be going around shooting anybody of any race. And I guess I'm doing this more than anything to show I can cover the other side of the story. I'm not just this person who's like, oh, well, I'm just going to focus on the Muslims and I'm going to focus on the other communities, blah, blah, blah. No. Every race, every man, woman, and to some degree child, is capable of horrific things. This is no different. And I will treat this story exactly the same way as I would treat any other atrocity completely. Sorry. I will treat this in the same manner as if it was a Muslim going shooting around gays, as if it was a black man shooting around white people, etc., etc. I'm sorry, my words are just completely failing me. But what this man done is completely abhorrent. Nobody here in their right mind will ever question that. And if anybody does, then I highly recommend that they go to their doctor and get a checkout from the neck up. Or in my case, all my chins and all that. Anyway, that's my particular point in regards to this. He is a disgusting individual, far-right extremist, in the flesh. He had on the barrel of his gun the N-word, and I think the number 14, if I'm not much mistaken. So this was, as I said, a malicious attack on black people. Oh, and before I go any further, I just want to be clear. I'm not doing this to virtue signal. Fuck virtue signaling. I am doing this story because I am condemning a complete and utter waste of good genes. A person that doesn't deserve to exist on this planet. He wants to take this to trial and says that he's not guilty of all these murders. Well, you might as well be at a murder scene with a smoking... Well, you are, basically, a man at a scene with a smoking gun. Anybody that commit this many murders in a short space of time with their guns and what have you, or if it's a knife or whatever, I don't care. My humble opinion on this. Anybody who commits that kind of mass murder, fucking execute them. Bluntly speaking. Because they don't deserve to live. And I know there are going to be people out there who are going to be like, oh, well, what we should think about is human rights. Did he think about their fucking human rights? Did he think about the lives of all those black people, and perhaps white people? He might have shot one dead, for all I know. But did he care about them when he was shooting his rifle, or his gun, or whatever it is? No, he didn't. So, if he doesn't give a shit about their human rights, why should we give a fuck about his human rights? Tell me. The man needs to be executed. Bottom line. And I would say this in exactly the same way if it was any other race as well. Let me be clear on that. This man is taking up oxygen that is unworthy of him. He is taking up oxygen that could be better used by people like us. We shouldn't even be wasting time with a trial, in my humble opinion. It should simply be go up to him, put a pistol to the back of his head and pull the trigger. Because a man like that does not deserve to live. A mass murderer like that does not deserve to live on this planet. Some people may think what I've said is extreme, and to them I say, go to hell. I bet you're the sort of person that would literally look up and say, oh, this shooter did the right thing. Well, I'm not one of those people. But I also have to point out, once again, more hypocrisy from the lamestream media. They're all very, very, very quick when it comes down to giving out the name, the race, and any potential affiliations they have when it's a white person doing the shootings. However, if you compare that to, say, a Muslim shooter or a Muslim going out and stabbing people, you will very rarely, if ever, hear them say he was an Islamic terrorist, you'll hear them say, oh, he had mental health issues and he was known by services and all the other usual bollocks that they put out on the mainstream media to all the gullible sheeple who will take this all in. But my stance still stands on this asshole. He needs to be removed from life. There should be a pop-up that comes up in front of his eyes that says, your free trial of life has ended. Because that's what needs to happen, quite frankly. Why should we cater to them? And plus, if he's given jail time, he is going to be a waste of taxpayer money as well. It's a shame that this is the kind of world we live in, where people can be so ignorant, shall we say, that they're willing to turn a blind eye to blatant evil, or blatant hypocrisy, or blatant corruption in regards to BLM. And of course, who were the first ones out there to virtue signal their asses off over this white man attacking people? BLM. Wouldn't you fucking know it? But I think the article I've mentioned at the start, that was covered by Nigel Farage, I think clearly, instead of them trying to polish the halo on their head, they should be taking a good long look in the mirror and actually see what they are doing to their own people, and realise how many people are going to be pissed off when they find out that their money was not used for holier-than-thou pursuits, but instead was used for personal gain. I don't think that's going to end up well. Do you? I guarantee you if it was a far-right organisation, or someone like Nigel Farage, who had been pointing out, or being pointed out rather, that they had taken millions of pounds or dollars from the people who gullibly donated to them, I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts they wouldn't hide that from the people. I'm willing to bet they wouldn't hide that for 2 fucking years. I bet it would be out before you could even say Bob's your uncle. Anyway, I think I'll draw this to a close here. But that's where I stand right now. This whole situation regarding BLM and this shooting is just beyond all belief. Like, they say it all the bloody time, that if you were told this, and you were told that this was happening, you'd believe, realistically speaking, that this was something that was being made up as a fairy tale. Only the cold, bitter truth is, this is something called real life. And unfortunately, we have crooked people. And let me point out that a lot of the funding towards BLM actually came from major tech companies. And, of course, companies that are funded by George Soros. So make of that what you will. But if BLM even dares to say that they are an organization for good, after all the shit they've done, I swear to God, there is going to be an atom bomb go off in this camp. Metaphorically speaking, of course. And I will not hesitate to drag BLM into the light, shine a big fucking torch on them. I actually have one right around here somewhere. I will take a big fucking torch, shine it right in their faces, and expose them for the hypocritical, lying, treacherous bastards that they really are. My name's Dabima, also known as Abatha X, and I am, as always, very, very bad news for our lamestream media outlets who refuse to do their job. The crooked Black Lives Matter movement that have now been exposed for what they really are, a bunch of selfish, self-serving dickheads, far-right extremists like Payton Gendron, who think it's okay to go around shooting people to get his message across. And most importantly, George Soros and his shill companies that keep providing BLM this kind of cash, and all those Silicon Valley companies that are also helping fund them to virtue signal. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. And most importantly, fuck the government.